Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you happen to be listening or watching this on whatever podcast platform you choose. Maybe you're checking it out on YouTube, maybe you're watching it on Facebook. Who knows? There's lots of ways you can check out this podcast these days. We appreciate you doing so. Just make sure you give us a like, a follow, a comment. Any of that kind of stuff helps us out. I know one man in particular that appreciates that. He is the executive producer of this podcast. He is a host of other podcasts here on the network. He is a roundabout great guy, and he is about to get trounced in yet another draft. He keeps showing up even though he loses every time, and we love him for it. Jimmy Jamriska. Jimmy, hello.
I cannot wait. And another draft that I'm in that I like the thing a lot that I'm in, but I'm not like as versed as you three are. So I can't wait to pick someone who's not even ever been on Saturday Night Live before. It's my favorite.
There we go. Jimmy, I got so excited to dominate you before the draft even started that I forgot to introduce that this is the Morgan You Know podcast. The co-host of this podcast, the Mrs. Morgan You Know, is out. So I've got a few friends with me. We are drafting. We love to draft. We are going to get to that soon. It's been a while since we've done a pop culture episode, so we are back. We're going to have some fun tonight. We have rules. We will argue about these rules. We have a draft order. All of that is to come, but we're going to draft SNL characters. And to help Jimmy and I to do that, we're bringing in a man who actually predates Saturday Night Live. He's older than SNL, which just turned 50 this year, so that gives you the slightest clue of how old our old man is. Chris King. Chris, hello.
What is up, fellas? And Jimmy, you could just guess a comedy writer / actor, and chances are they've been on SNL. The list of people that have made appearances on SNL is almost infinite. I think you can throw a dart and catch somebody that's been on the show for at least a couple episodes.
All right, Seinfeld will be my number one pick then, for sure.
Look out. But we're talking about a television show, so that means we're getting a return from a good old friend of ours. He is the resident couch potato in these parts, but unfortunately these days he is a lot busier watching high schoolers play athletics. He's not watched as many TV shows, so we haven't had the chance to get him on, but we still love an appearance from our guy, Pete Osterman. Pete, hello.
Hey, it's good to see everyone again. I haven't podcasted on the nation in a while, but I'm excited to talk about SNL tonight. It is something that, even though I've been away from discussions on and some of these drafts you guys have done, I am pretty well versed in SNL, and I'm excited to throw out some curveballs to you guys that you haven't prepared for them.
Nice. That's the most baseball has been talked about on this podcast network.
I like that a lot.
I
like that a lot.
Pete mentioning curveball right there. Yeah, Jimmy's got his Cubs hat on if you're watching this on video. Jimmy, I'm just going to start with you. When do you think the first time you heard or had an understanding of Saturday Night Live was? Because it was clearly around before you were born, you and me both.
Yeah, it's. I think the Morgan You Know Studios down in. Yeah, he's gone.
And chopped it up.
So I guess we're not live, but I can. The editing will be fun on this one, Chris. So Rod mentioned that SNL is, what is it? And I just thought it was really a comedy show, and so many things have spurned off of SNL, but going back to the original is the best. Now, I know, I'm not someone who sits down every Saturday night because, listen, I have a life, okay? I'm not going to be there Saturday night. I've got some softball tournaments to be at. I got to get to bed early to get up for softball tournaments. But, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, which, by the way, Morgan, on YouTube Shorts, blowing up a little bit as well. Those things really have made SNL continue to stay relevant. Now they've been in a little bit of what do we do? How do we navigate this climate that we're in? But I guess, Chris, since you're not used to having anything electronic, how do you consume SNL?
Via the old rabbit ears, like I have been for decades, right? I mean, that's how I got to do it, right? A little bit of tin foil, get in position just right. You got a clear picture. It comes through. It's important, though. Listen, SNL is a show that can make someone like me actually enjoy someone like a Justin Timberlake, who I had no reason to or want to like or enjoy his work, but he goes on SNL and he makes me a fan of his acting chops, right? So that's what SNL can do to just about anybody out there.
So we'll go to Pete, then we'll hit Rod too. So Pete, obviously he's got the rabbit ears going. How do you consume SNL right now?
Right now, it's probably a lot of like reels, thumbing through Instagram, the shorts, on YouTube. Everyone's got smart TVs now, and so being able to get those consumable 7-8 minute clips, and they also do a good job of pushing out to all like the pseudo news websites, like the Yahoos and stuff like that. That, hey, click this link. This hilarious sketch was on SNL last night. You don't want to miss it. So sure, when you're thumbing through and you kind of catch those reels, it's really easy to consume and then reshare. I know that I get some of these funny skits from Rod and some of the guys in our group message every now and again from SNL, and it's just real consumable that way. I honestly can't remember the last time I sat down. It would have to be a certain host, like if I knew somebody, say Peyton Manning was coming back to host again. Yeah, I'm gonna pigeonhole some time for that, and I'm gonna watch it live. But mostly I'm watching on social media.
Yeah, I think the last time I watched it live, it wasn't on Saturday night. It was the special that was on this past year. Rod, welcome back, Rod. I know that Chris once again kind of made you a little mad, and I am proud of you for taking a breath, coming back to collect yourself. True professionalism as always. Don't know if you can do that during every draft pick, but that's okay. How do you consume SNL right now?
I like to think of myself as somebody who is still carrying the torch for SNL, right? Pete kind of mentioned it there. I like to think I'm one of the first people who was quick to tell folks, hey, check out this SNL sketch. This SNL sketch was pretty funny. I have a season pass to it on my DVR. I had a season pass to it on my TiVo back when we all had one of those. You know what I mean? I would actually hustle home to catch Saturday Night Live, many a Saturday night where things didn't go as planned for a early 20-something-year-old Rod, right? I would be like, oh, well, let's just call it a night and go home and watch SNL. So I have been an avid SNL fan my entire life. I have to shout out VH1 for showing reruns of the early years when I was in my youth. And then I have to shout out like Jan Hooks and Victoria Jackson and Phil Hartman and all of that cast for being, when I was finally old enough to stay up to watch that show, I felt like I was achieving something, right? I'd heard about this show. I knew it was on late. I'd heard that it was kind of dangerous, right? It was subversive. I think I had an understanding of what subversive was before I even knew what that word meant, Jimmy, if that makes any sense to you. So like the minute I watched SNL, I felt like I was instantly let into the cool club.
So SNL really does continue to stay in the mainstream, stay in the vernacular. This past weekend, my father-in-law said, hey, someone said they need more cowbell on this text thread. What does that mean? And I did have to ask him who sent it because apparently cowbell does have other meanings than SNL, but it was an SNL reference, and I had to kind of go into that a little bit with the family there. So that's one of the things I think that, I don't know, guys, is that the number one thing people think of is the more cowbell when right now?
I think that's one of those things where it's like it's really idiosyncratic what somebody's going to say that they most think of from SNL, right? Because like everybody's going to have their own specific taste, and that's one of the other cool things about SNL, right? We've had musical guests that cross the span, right? Whatever kind of music you're into at one time or another, SNL has had your favorite artist or an artist that plays that type of music on there. Whatever kind of comedy you're into, SNL has had that type of performer on there, right? Your impressionists, your snark, your complete wild man, your, that whatever you want is there. They've parodied every movie or TV show that's come out since 1975. They've skewered every politician or famous actor that's existed since 1975. Like, it's equal opportunity, and not as many people watch it these days, Jimmy. I don't know if you guys got into this while I was gone, but I would say that it's actually somehow a bit more important now because in a world of IP, that's essentially what SNL is, right? There's not a lot of other people that exist and have the cultural cachet built up to say, hey, we're doing comedy sketches. Make sure you check in on us. We're going to be funny. Now it's all just everybody has their own name and their own YouTube channel. At least with SNL, we have that umbrella and we know what we're getting.
Yeah, those random people with their YouTube channels, right, Pete?
Yeah. Now, what I love about SNL though is it can be so timely and it's actually fresh material. it's not going through some like marketing test. It's just going through a room of writers saying, is this good enough or not? And let's roll the dice and perform it. And I think just being able to, especially with the 50th anniversary, you got to kind of see behind the scenes more of the process with SNL and in the institution it is. And I think that does add some of the excitement when you are watching live, because you kind of understand that this is all fresh, maybe within 24 hours of putting this together. And still, it just hits a nerve with the culture sometimes that's really special.
Do you think that when it comes to SNL sketches that you'll remember over time, Jimmy, let me see if I can frame it this way. I'll take off of your question there. Will you remember when they were parodying movies, when they were making fun of TV shows that you liked, when they were doing political sketches, or do you think you remember the weird SNL stuff, right, that might have worked at any particular time? Like, I'll pull a couple of examples out recently, like the Nate Bargatze as George Washington talking about the measuring system in the United States, right? Like that could have worked at any particular time, you know what I mean? Or there was another great sketch that came on this year where it was, I think it was also Bargatze, and somebody were at the top of a water slide, somebody dies at the top of the water slide, and basically the whole sketch is, do you think we should just push the guy down the water slide? Because it would really take an awful lot of work to carry him down the stairs in front of all these kids that were over there, right? And like, again, that's the kind of sketch that would work anytime. So sure, you can get mad at SNL for its political, but they're always funny. Chris, do you look at them as more of, hey, they're going to skewer what's going on now, or do you look at them as like some of the weirdest and funniest out there stuff I've ever seen in my life came from SNL?
It's both, right? Because I can go back and think about some of the shorts, like with the cats with the laser beam eyes, right? Or some of the really outrageous stuff like Gary and Ace, the dynamically gay duo or whatever.
Ambiguously.
You ambiguously gay
What are you
duo, thank
at?
you. Right? Those right? Those were great, hilarious. They're still funny to me today. You can even go, like you talked about the Bargetts episodes, and they are hilarious, those skits, right? But on the other end of the spectrum, you can have somebody like Shane Gillis, a guy who was fired from SNL, come back and host and have a couple of great skits as well. The Jamaican church was a hilarious skit. The couple beers and a little bump, that's a hilarious skit. Like, so you get all ends of the spectrum with SNL, and that's why it continues to be relevant.
All right, let me ask you this as we start to round towards the draft that we're going to do, and I'll explain the draft. But this is the last question I have as an overview for SNL. How many different people, Jimmy, don't give away any of the names here, right? Because we don't want to be making the draft any easier for our competitors. But how many different names do you think you considered as a number one overall pick if you were graced with that?
For the number one overall pick, I hope I don't get it, because I've got I legitimately have, I think, I've got, okay, I'll go. I got three. I have three that I really would love to pick number one overall. I want one of them on my team, and I'm going to have the fourth pick and not get any
There you
of them.
go.
So that's
Chris,
fine.
how about you? How many people did you consider number one pick worthy if you were graced with it?
There was really only two options that I narrowed it down to. There's two people that I would take as my number one pick. I don't know which one I would take if I got that pick, but it was tough to whittle it down. Like, I had to really kind of make a list and say, okay, well, I'm not going to count this person. I think I could get him later at a different category or whatever. But there's two people that I desperately want for two specific categories, and that's who I'm probably going to go with if I get the number one pick.
Pete, more names at the top of your list, or do you think we're going to all get real competitive in this real early, and we're going to do what Chris said there and pick a category that's scarce?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like a fantasy football draft. I don't think anybody's picking the kicker first here. There's your first pick's going to be a sexy one, and you're going to have a good reason for it. But for me, like, if I'm looking at it as like if I had their catalog and I just had like their DVD, right? Whose catalog would I choose? I've got one person as my number one. But if I say like if I'm getting these people in their prime and I've got them in a writing room and we're going to start a fresh show this week, I probably got 3 that I could say that are my number 1 picks. Or I could find a real good spot for them.
Nice. All right. Well, here are the rules for the draft we have come up with. We're going to draft SNL characters that have appeared on at least one season of the show since 1975. That entails a lot of people. So we came up with a little archetypes, right? Ways to break them down, ways that we have to compete a little bit. Our categories are as follows. We need to draft a male and female castmate that we consider ready for primetime players. You can think of this as your lead, as your superstar, however you want to think about it. We want to draft a male and female cast member who are considered a not ready for primetime player. That's the name we gave to more of a glue guy, right? Somebody who's more of a character actor, if you think about it. Supporting actor, if you will, right? Third character, we went with pop culture character player. And what we mean there is an impressionist. All right, so you want to take somebody over the years and nab them into pop culture character. That's going to be your impressionist. We named a category the Kaufman. Andy Kaufman, one of the ultimate wild cards in comedy history. So that's what the Kaufman is. It's a wild card. You make it what you want it to be. Then we have repertory player. What that stands for is a cast member who managed to stay on the show for 7 years or more. And there are quite a few people to choose from on that list, but I imagine that one might be the one that we fight over the most. And then finally, we need somebody to update Weekend Update. So we're going to pick ourselves an update anchor. So we're going to end up with 8 cast members. We're going to be forced to take 2 females, but in the other 4 categories, you are welcome to take a female if you would like to. Those are the rules for the draft. Jimmy, randomize the draft order for us if you would, please, sir.
Chris, I need a number between 1 and 4.
3.
1. Okay, well, there you go. This is going well. 2 and 3. Okay, that didn't work. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. It's going well. Everything's fine. Rod, Chris, what's your name, Pete, and Jimmy. All right, what did you say? You said 4?
3. I said 3.
All right, there we go. 1, 2, and 3. Pete has the number 1 pick. Chris has the number 2 pick. Rod has the number 3 pick. And Jimmy is at the turnaround with the number 4 pick. Now, we are doing snake draft here, right?
I would assume.
That's how we do it.
Just making sure we're all on the same page.
Screwed at the 3rd pick.
Give me a... Gosh. All righty. Let's see here. Get that out of there. All right, here we go. All right. Pete Osterman. How are you, bud?
Sir. I'm wonderful. Sitting at the top spot here.
With the you've got only one person too, which is nice. With the first pick in the 2025 SNL Salute from TMYK, Pete Osterman selects.
With my number 1 pick, I want to go with a ready for primetime player and Will Ferrell.
All right, Will Ferrell.
Solid number 1.
He was on my board, not going to lie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It would have been dumb of any of us to not have him on our board, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Mike Ditka. My draft is over.
I'd imagine, Chris.
You can just go golfing?
Chris, this was one of the 2 people you were talking about, I'd imagine, right? Jimmy, this was one of your 3.
No.
What?
No, I would not. I would not have taken Will Ferrell over number 1 overall.
Now I wish Chris would have had number 1.
You got to think back to the 70s here.
Yeah, that would have been cool. All right, Chris. Well, with number 2, everyone on your board is still there, apparently.
I know, right? This makes it tough because, right, do I go and follow in Pete's footsteps and go for a lead because now I feel like there's going to be a run on leads? But no, this is a guy I think is on everyone's list in some way, shape, or form, and I want him on mine because he is one of my favorite actors ever from not just SNL, but in general. And I am going to draft for my repertory player, Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman, number 2 overall.
Repertory, huh? You didn't pick him as a not ready for
Rest in
primetime
peace,
glue
Phil.
guy.
No, this is a guy that can do whatever you need. He can be the glue. He can lead a skit, right? I mean, the caveman lawyer almost got a TV show, right? I'm just saying this guy can do everything. I want somebody that in that spot that is a real anchor, longtime guy. Everybody recognizes him and everybody loves him.
Do you think his Bill Clinton started SNL on a real heavy political push, or do you think that was something that even back in the 70s Chevy Chase was doing, or do you think that his Clinton like took it to the next level?
No, I think Dana Carvey with his first Bush was the one who did it more than Hartman's Clinton.
But he carried the torch.
He did carry the torch.
Gotcha.
I suppose that means.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay.
Phil Hartman, I like that.
So, Rod, we have Will. Yeah, we have Will Ferrell pick first. Phil Hartman pick second. Third pick of the first round. Rod, is everybody still on your board? Well, I guess Will Ferrell.
No, I mean, yeah, clearly I had Will Ferrell on my board. Clearly I had Phil Hartman on my board. I had him as more of a glue guy than I had him as a repertory player, but Chris is not wrong for being able to take him there as a repertory player. I think I'm just gonna take the other obvious pick off the board, in my opinion, and give me primetime player Eddie Murphy.
On my board.
He was my other one.
He's so funny. I mean, even on the SNL special, like, so funny. You know, that Tracy Morgan thing was ridiculous. It's not easy to outdo Tracy Morgan when he's standing a foot away from you, but he did. And just the amount of time lost from him just because he wasn't on the show very long. It didn't continue on, should I say? That would have been great.
He is so talented as a stand-up comedian, but he was so much bigger of a movie star that he didn't have to do it anymore. I mean, I just wish we would have got more stand-up from him, or he would come back and do it.
Did you hear his Will Smith joke?
No.
He was giving some Hall of Fame speech, and he's like, "There's 3 rules I've followed in my life," and it's like, stay committed to your work, and be diligent in everything you do every day. And keep Will Smith's wife's mouth out your fucking mouth. He just yelled at the mic, and it's like only Eddie Murphy could do that joke at that time, and everyone still gets it.
That is good. Eddie might be the single biggest star that Saturday Night Live has ever produced. He could be in running for best castmate. There's a lot of different ways you can go for best castmate ever. So I think we have 3 strong people off the board. Jimmy Jam, you get to make the turn for us. 2 categories going to be knocked out right here. This is a big advantage for you.
I'm very excited. I think my top 2. I'm just going with, like Pete said, who would I watch the most? I'm going to go in the pop culture character because he can do so many different characters and did a great job with those characters. Mike Myers is going to be my number 1 pick. The fact that I can watch the Philip skit with Nicole Kidman 20 times in a row and cry every time. All of the Simon are fantastic. Superfan, Bears. Oh, there was one more thing he did. I don't remember. Wayne, probably pretty good there as well. Really like that. So I'm going to go Mike Myers, pop culture character. And then I'm going to go with the not ready for prime time. I'm going to go Farley here. I love Chris Farley. I don't think he's quite at the ready for primetime level. You can talk me out of that if you want, but I think Chris Farley would be my number 2. Obviously, one of the best cast members that I've ever seen on SNL.
Farley was definitely on my list, but as a ready for primetime player, since he was a lead in multiple movies, like I thought for sure ready for primetime. And I listen, both these guys were on my list. I am confused by the categories, though. Like, I would have thought Mike Myers and Farley would have been more ready for prime time.
I think Myers definitely could have been for sure. I mean, if you think I'm out of bounds with the not ready for prime time with Farley, that's fine. I can move him.
Did Myers do a lot of impressions, Rod, Pete?
Listen, I have issues with both of the selections here, but I don't want to step all over everybody
else.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, like,
why? Just because they're two of the greatest cast members
again,
in SNL
Farley's
history?
on my list, but
I'm not
Farley's
sure
on my
what-
list
what
as a
that-
wild card, right? Farley's on my list in the Andy Kaufman category because of the kind of energy that he brought to a sketch, right? Like, like if we're going by Chris's argument that like just because you were the lead in a movie means you get to be ready for prime time, then like almost 70% of the people who have been on SNL get to be that. You know what I mean? Like, just because you got the lead of a movie doesn't necessarily mean that, in my opinion, right? But again, these categories are open to interpretation. All of us are able to put our own sauce onto it, so that's fine. Keep both of these guys in both of these categories, but I wouldn't have drafted either of them in the categories you put them in.
Okay, well that means that I have done right if Rod and I are not on the same page. Rod, Eddie Murphy was your first pick overall in the male ready for prime time. What is your second
So I'm
pick?
just going to stick with the primetime players, and I'm going to go ahead and get the first female taken off the board because I think she's quite possibly one of the greatest SNL cast members of all time, and that is the great Kristen Wiig. So give me Kristen Wiig off the board right now as ready for primetime, my female cast member.
Well, okay, Rod and I agree on this one. She was definitely my one of the top females on my board as well. I decided to go in a different direction, but yeah, definitely an amazing pick there, Rod. And you've got one of the pretty difficult categories out of the way now. So you're freewheeling from now
I
on.
also have Eddie Murphy
Chris King,
and
what do you
Kristen
think?
Wiig
And
playing
who's
off
your
of one
pick?
another so far. All right, Eddie Murphy and Kristen Wiig playing off of one another so far. That's what I got going.
Not bad, not bad.
I am actually surprised that this guy is still up here. Like I thought for sure when Rod and Pete didn't take this person that Jim was going to, but hey, I'm happy to take him as my ready for prime time. To me, this is probably right up there with an Eddie Murphy as far as biggest star that's came out of Saturday Night Live, and that's Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. I mean, one of the originals. Can't go wrong with that at all. I believe, didn't you babysit him once?
I didn't babysit Bill. Some of his brothers were old enough by then. I babysat his older brothers.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Pete, you took Will Ferrell with your number one overall pick. How are you feeling right now about your draft, and what's your next pick, buddy?
Well, I think this is a nice sweet spot to be back in the draft. I think there's some mobility. I've seen where other people are going, so I can start to pivot with my picks. And I was gonna try and knock out my primetime players first, thinking that I'd feel some heat on those. But I think my board's safe, so I'm gonna go with my Kaufman pick. I'm gonna go with John Belushi for my Kaufman pick.
Wow, Belushi is on your Kaufman pick.
You
Yeah,
might
that's a
say
smart pick.
it might be a primetime player, but I think if I'm going
Which
along
Belushi?
Yeah.
with John, not
Okay.
James.
Okay. All right. I want to make sure they were both on Saturday Night Live.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's the
Curly Sue's
second
a hell of a
round.
movie. Curly Sue's a hell of a movie.
Mr. Destiny is fantastic.
It is. But I just think that if you just put him on set with just about anybody out there, he can play off of him. And it's one of those Second City guys, and I think he fits that Kaufman pick really well.
All right, so Will Ferrell, John Belushi, and first pick of the third round.
Yes, and so for my not ready for primetime players, I'm going to take my female in this one, and I'm going to go with Kate McKinnon.
Nice. Could have put her as an impressionist as
I
well.
think Kate McKinnon is one of these people that, like,
Yeah,
could've-
she's really solid.
She was my number one on Impressionist, literally just for her Justin Bieber.
yeah, no, she goes at every single scene, and like I think she's one of those fun characters where she's trying to get everybody else in the scene to crack up. Like before she even makes the audience laugh, she's trying to make the person across from her laugh, and that's always a great person to do improv with.
Those are solid picks, man. Will Ferrell, John Belushi,
Wonderful.
Kate McKinnon
Third round.
doing things. Come on.
Yeah.
Pete's team making laughs.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Speaking of solid picks, Chris, Bill Murray, Phil Hartman, and
I might get a little bit of grief from you guys with this pick, but for my not ready for prime time, my glue guy, right? I'm picking somebody, and this is going to be the male that literally can do anything you want in front of a camera. All right? And that is Adam Sandler.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
He obviously was a movie star, Chris. So I don't understand how he can't be primetime if they're not ready for primetime, Chris.
He's probably the biggest box office person,
So
right?
Chris Farley has more leading man energy than Adam Sandler.
I mean, Chris.
Maybe, but listen.
But Chris Farley cannot be
Hey,
not ready for primetime.
listen. Farley
Beverly
was
Hills
on.
Ninja.
Farley was on at the same time as Sandler. Farley was the bigger star when him and Sandler were on SNL together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Farley would be a ready for prime time. Sandler not ready for prime time.
Okay. As long as you can live and sleep at night. I think we have to say that a lot, Chris, with you on these drafts, but that's okay. Rod, so I'm assuming you did not have Adam Sandler as your not ready for primetime male. You have Eddie Murphy and Kristen Wiig. Pretty decent start to your cast, Rod. I see how you're building right now. Who's your third pick?
Listen, I'm not against Adam Sandler, right? I'm really not. I had him probably in the wild card category, right, for his musical abilities. You know what I mean? Kind of throw him in that way, right? His you know what I mean? Like that's just nonsense, right? To me, that's a little more of a wild card energy than it is anything else. But again, Chris Farley is a leading man, and Adam Sandler is a supporting player. These are the rules that Chris King lives in his universe. Old people look at things differently. How many times do we have to prove it? All right, I have vamped for long enough. I believe I am going to go to my pop culture character player. I'm going to draft somebody from a little closer to this time, but they have been away from SNL for a few years now, and we miss him dearly. He's gone on to some good acting work. I'm still excited to see what he has coming up in the future. Give me Bill Hader as my pop culture.
Damn.
You know how many great impressions I just got? You know how many great impressions I just got right there? I got a guy who's got the energy of Phil Hartman, who can play as a second fiddle in a sketch. I got a guy who also has Phil Hartman's ability to be a game show host anytime I want to write one of those, right? I got a guy who can be a nerd. I got a guy who can be an asshole. Give me Bill Hader all over. I got Bill Hader, Kristen Wiig, Eddie Murphy. Come on, people.
Can you get Bill Hader to keep a straight face when he's in a skit with?
Doesn't matter. It's even better.
Kristen
It's
Wiig?
even better. Even better. Put Stefan on there all day, and Rod wins this draft. It's fine.
Stefan's good.
All right. I'm going to go for my not ready for prime time female, and I'm going to go with someone who is speaking of glue, she can do everything. I'm going to go Maya Rudolph on this one. I think that she is just someone who can come in, knock it out of the park.
Excellent pick.
I really like that a lot.
Yeah.
She was on my list.
I mean, for all the things that we lost this past year, her impression of her impressions were amazing, and I know we're not talking about that, but amazing.
You mean the way
Farley, Rudolph, and Myers
are
my picks
so
far.
The way she used to say Joe Biden, Jimmy? Is that what you're talking about?
I just
Joe Biden.
That would have been great. And then I'm gonna go old school for my female ready for prime time. I'm just looking back at some of the sketches, just above, before her time. Gilda Radner is going to be my female ready for prime time.
I knew Gilda would be one of the females taken.
She was on my short list on female
her energy
lead.
is just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, if Wig wasn't there, she had to be my pick on that one. So I've got Gilda Radner, Chris Farley, Maya Rudolph, and Mike Myers are my squad right now. Rod, you are coming back. Eddie Murphy, Kristen Wiig, and Bill Hader.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways I can go here. Let me go to... Man, there's still a wild card. I'm just going to say wild card because there's so many ways that it can go. So let me go to not ready for prime time male. All right? Not ready for prime time male. And give me Chris Parnell. Not a huge name, Not a huge name, but when you think about him, Chris Parnell's batting average for being in stone cold sketches on Saturday Night Live is great. He can rap a little bit for you. He's appeared in Lonely Sunday. A lot of different things Chris Parnell can do. Going to be a great straight man, right? I need somebody with Chris Parnell's energy with some of the rest of the team that I'm building. So give me Chris Parnell as my glue guy, because some other people I wanted to take as glue guy are off the board. So I'm down to Chris Parnell there. What I'm doing here, Jimmy, is I'm sacrificing
Bill Murray, Adam Sandler, and Phil Hartman are Chris's picks.
I'm sacrificing a big name, Jim, because we all know that few votes that are going to come in for these things, you just got to have huge names, right? That's how you win this. People are like, oh, look at that. Those are huge names. That guy has the best team. But if you really think about it, me adding Chris Parnell is like that utility player that every championship team has to have, right? We can't have Eddie Murphy and Will Ferrell 8 times over on our teams, right? There's got to be somebody who's willing to take a little background role, and I just got the perfect willing to take a background role guy.
Someone who never takes a background role unless we tell him to. Chris King, you are up. Bill Murray, Adam Sandler, Phil Hartman.
Okay, so I think I got to get into some strategy now. And I don't know how...
Looking at your draft, I bet now it's time for strategy. Yeah, good call.
Easy. But I want to pick Weekend Update Anchor, and I'm going to take the current iteration, the longest running iteration.
Of who?
I'm going to take Michael Che and Colin Jost.
Are we giving him the duo?
Interesting. It says anchor, doesn't say anchors. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, I think you got to take them as a team, right?
I mean, we never discussed this before. It says anchor.
I know.
I did think about it. Shocking, Chris is trying to stick it to the man here.
I'm not against it.
Here's my question. Which one's better?
Yeah, I think we have to allow it because you can't just take one of them, right?
Yeah,
they're a good team,
right? And in getting these two guys, I'm also getting 2 longtime writers for SNL and 2 head writers for SNL, right? Both of these guys have had stints as being the head writer for the show, so these are guys that can bring a lot of experience and a lot of other intangibles to this cast that I'm creating.
Do you think either one of them is going to take over here soon?
Ooh.
I mean, that wholly depends on whether or not you believe Lorne Michaels will ever die.
Yep, fair enough. Okay.
I like Tina Fey for that job.
I do. I mean, yeah, I'm sure he's drinking vampire blood.
Yeah,
I don't. I don't know who they. I'm thinking that those Colin Jost maybe might be the lead right now as current cast members, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay, and Rod is done. He's out. He doesn't care about this anymore.
He got pissed with that pick, didn't he?
Wow.
Every time I do something.
It's fine. It is funny. Like, all kidding aside, Pete, whenever Rod leaves, it's right after Chris has said something.
Yes.
It's a joke, but isn't. That's all I'm asking.
Right? Listen, there's a little bit of truth in every joke, right?
There is. Pete, speaking of jokes, they have Will Ferrell, Kate McKinnon, John Belushi. Not a bad first 3 picks.
Thank you.
Let's do pick 4 and 5, and hopefully Rod will be back by then.
Okay, so for my repertory player, I also had him in that Kaufman range, but I just think like he was on for long enough and he created enough characters. But I'm going to go with Tracy Morgan for my repertory player. He had 7 years, and he is still somebody that everyone, if he's on live TV, everyone's tuning in to watch. If he's making clips on live TV, everyone's tuning in to watch.
He's an amazing, and he and Belushi playing off each other too in your skits.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Not bad at all. And who is the first pick of the next round? And then we'll kind of recap the draft for everybody.
Yeah. So I was going update anchor with this pick, and Chris definitely threw me off. So I can take a pair.
You can take a pair.
Okay, so I'm going to take Jimmy and Tina as my update anchor, and get them in the writing room. But yeah, I think Jimmy and Tina made it fun to watch that part of the show again. I think they showed some fresh energy, and that was kind of the classic setup with it, with Chevy Chase and Gilda Radner, and so I think that kind of brought it back at the midpoint of the show's history, and really brought the segment back to life. So I think I got really good cut to some like suits talking about pseudo news and cracking political jokes right in the middle of.
So then I have a question.
Yeah.
Are both of them now gone?
Yes.
Yep.
They're both gone.
Yes.
Wow.
Which
in this draft, Jimmy.
to be honest, I don't think that pair with Tina Fey is the best pair. I think Tina and Amy were better.
They are both gone. So Rod, we've got some since Chris could take two, Pete decided he was going to take two, and Jimmy Fallon and Tina Fey, who are now both off the board, and he also took Tracy Morgan as the repertory player, meaning that he's going to have Tracy Morgan and John Belushi playing off each other.
That's those are some strong picks, man. I listen. These people do not pay me, so I'm gonna go ahead and just down shout Verizon right now. We got this new Verizon internet in the house, and it is not really getting anything done. There's literally nobody here streaming or doing anything else. All I'm trying to do is use the internet to record a podcast with my buddies, and Verizon does not want to participate this evening. So, Jimmy and Tina, strong picks. Tracy Morgan, strong picks. You also get Tracy Morgan's ability to vomit on command. That is strong.
Yes.
What did you pick Tracy Morgan as?
Chris King, someone who hates the man and probably Verizon. Repertory.
Tracy Morgan is repertory? Okay.
All right, Chris. Yeah. He was on it for 7, I think, right? 7 seasons?
7 years.
Yep. All right, I'm going to go with my ready for primetime lead. I think she is hilarious. She has done a ton of different things for SNL over the years. She continues to be one of the funniest people in comedy, and that is Amy Poehler.
Yeah, that's a good pick. She was one of mine also for the female ready for prime time. So very good pick on that one, Amy Poehler. Just hilarious all over the place for sure. All right. Rod, Eddie Murphy, Kristen Wiig, Chris Parnell, and Bill Hader is your squad right now. You are still looking for female not ready for prime time, the Kaufman repertory and update anchor.
Yeah, let me go. Pardon me. Let me go to somebody who I think can sometimes get a little bit forgotten about, but she is really, really strong, and so she is my female not ready for primetime player. I'm going with Molly Shannon.
Yep. Yeah, very, very strong as well.
She was on my short list for that category, Rod.
I got Molly Shannon. I got Molly Shannon and Kristen Wiig. Like I'm imagining like some sort of a sketch going on where Kristen Wiig does her Target Lady, and then Molly Shannon just pulls one of her characters out, going back and forth with Target Lady, and like there's just lots of stuff that can happen there. Like just we're doing so many things, and then Eddie Murphy's gonna come out and sing James Brown songs. It's gonna be great.
It's going to be fantastic. You know what else is fantastic? Riverside does a really good job of these recordings. So when we replay the recording, we're actually going to hear everything Rod said there instead of really good Eddie Murphy doing the thing. So that would be really good on that. Oh, we're lucky this is a PG show, folks, because Rod right now is not very happy. I need my male ready for prime time, and he could also be a weekend update anchor, so I kind of need to take him now. I'm going to go original. I'm going to go Chevy Chase is my male ready for prime time lead.
That's a strong pick.
I like my cast to have a little I don't know, little anger.
You have the old school leads, right? Chevy Chase and Gilda.
Chevy Chase and Gilda Radner together. And then Farley, Maya Rudolph, and Mike Myers coming up. So I have 3 left: Kaufman, repertory, and the update anchor. I'm gonna go with the repertory. I think this person has been there. Do I have? Do I want to go there or do I want to go there? That's the question. I'm gonna actually go. I'm gonna go repertory player, and I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna go Kaufman, and I'm gonna go John Lovitz as the Kaufman. I love him. Fantastic. And Rod hates that pick. Okay.
He was on my short list for that.
Yeah, the devil is one of the best, and I'm just on the last special they had. He was at the very end. Why wasn't I invited? Great stuff, great stuff from Lovitz. Oh, that's so funny. All right, so Rod is up now. So we're gonna do a quick. I'm just gonna pick someone for Rod. Because he'll be fine with that, right?
You wouldn't make him real mad.
So whatever. Rod will pick the following.
I'm here.
He picked Luke.
I'm here.
No.
Stop it. I'm here. We're taking my picks.
Already been picked.
Auto draft, Rod. You got kicked out. Auto draft kicked in.
Can you hear me?
You're fine.
All
You're
right.
fine. You're fine. Yeah, you're good. You got to pick somebody though. Kaufman, repertory, or update
let me
anchor.
Go. Oh, excuse me. Let me go Kaufman, and let me go Will Forte.
We're going Kaufman. I know that. It could be Andy Kaufman.
Will
You never
Forte.
really know. No. Rod, who did you pick for
Forte.
Kaufman? Will Forte.
Will Forte. That's not a bad pick.
He's
Yeah,
another
he was
name
on
that
my
you don't think
repertory.
of too often,
Jerk.
right? But the sketch where Peyton
Yeah,
Manning
Will
was
Forte.
on.
He's really fun.
Val
Right.
Kilmer's best
The
friend.
sketch where Peyton Manning was the host, and he was the coach who came into the locker room and literally just started doing the dance. Oh, yeah. good
MacGruber.
stuff. I'm not sure if I can be heard now.
All right, here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. We need to step up a little bit. Rod, we can hear you, but Rod has Will Forte, Bill Hader, Molly Shannon, Chris Parnell, Kristen Wiig, and Eddie Murphy. That's a solid crew there. I'm not going to lie. That's a pretty solid crew. But Chris is also pretty solid with Bill Murray, Amy Poehler, Adam Sandler, Phil Hartman, and Michael Che and Colin Jost. Who you got in female, not ready for primetime, pop culture, or the Kaufman?
I'm exactly going to my female, not ready for prime time. This is probably somebody that maybe not made your list, right? But she is somebody she's currently still on the cast, and she has been hilarious for the past 7 years. And that is, I am going to butcher this, Ego Nwendon.
Ego Wodum?
Thank you. I knew I'd butcher her name.
She is funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's the best. I love her.
I looked up specifically how to pronounce
you're
her
fine,
name,
you're fine.
and I still butchered it. She's
fine.
hilarious, though, and she's been hilarious for a long time, and she is really a glue for the
You
current
got SNL
cast.
fined this year. Did you guys catch that story?
Okay.
She was doing this little...
Oh, for that
doing like a
little thing she
she
did
was
on
doing
Weekend
like a stand-up
Update.
comedian bit, and she was like...
Oh, yeah, she said they had the...
crowd responded to her with the curse word. She said, Lauren's going to be mad at you for that.
Yep, and she was... Yep. Wasn't mad at the audience, mad at her. Pete, Will Ferrell, Kate McKinnon, John Belushi, Tracy Morgan, and Fallon and Faye. You've got female and male not ready for primetime and pulp culture. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with pop culture because I do think he might be a repertory guy somebody could pull. But I'm gonna go pop culture with Daryl Hannah. I think his ability to do impressions, his longevity. I also loved when he would do his political sketch at the beginning and play Clinton or Gore, whoever he was playing, and you would see him later on in the show and he had to be an extra in a scene and you knew he did not want to be there. And he was probably already 3 scotches deep on the night. And he would come out and he had one line and he would just nail it, and I just think that he's one of those guys that could play different he could learn somebody real fast and recreate something in pop culture within that week, which is just incredible. But he's my pop culture guy.
Okay, awesome. Daryl Hammond, pop
Yes.
culture. Chris, you're down to pop culture and Kaufman.
I am going.
No.
I'm going to go with my pop culture,
Okay.
and I am going to go with a well-known impressionist. He can do numerous well-known celebrities. He is more of a recent guy. This is Jay Farrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jay Farrow. Yeah, I think that's a good pick. Jay Farrow is hilarious and continues to be so. He's somebody that you do see on your TikToks, your shorts, and everything very often. So Jay Farrow is the pick there. All right, got to make sure I spelled that right. Okay, Rod, you are up with the repertory or update anchor, and then I've got the my last two picks.
Let me see here. You know what? I'm gonna go update anchor, and I'm gonna go with my guy. God rest his soul, an absolute bang up stand up comic. Your stand up comedian's favorite stand up comedian. Give me Norm Macdonald as my update anchor.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Well, that just messed me up, didn't it?
That's like picking the Ravens defense. Just gonna score points for you.
Love Norm.
If someone would have beat me for the 2-for-1, I think I would have gone Norm.
Enjoy Kevin Nealon, Jimmy.
Yeah. Okay. Nope. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm actually golden. Because for my weekend update, I'm going to go with Jane, you ignorant slut, and Dan Aykroyd. Jane Curtin and Dan Aykroyd. Bring it. Let's go. I'm excited about that one. I like that one.
Wow,
Thank
Jimmy went old
goodness.
school.
Hurts. He was gonna, yeah.
I've got kind of an old school list. I'm more of the Chris list here.
Coneheads.
That is still one of... Oh, that's such a great movie.
Great Chili Pepper song on that
Chris
soundtrack.
Farley's hilarious in that. Yeah.
All right, so I got Curtin and Aykroyd there. And then repertory. Man. I am going to go with the repertory of all repertories, I think, here. I'm going to go with Kenan Thompson. He's going to be my repertory player. He's been there for the better part of 2 decades. I think that is going to be a nice round out to my list. Good character actor, can do a lot of different things, a lot of different impersonations as well. Kenan Thompson is my final pick.
Damn it.
He's like the perfect one for that, right? Just like,
Yeah.
you can you name like characters that have been great that he's created? It's like now he's usually playing some like straight man or alternate character within the scene and just steals it.
100%. All right, Rod, repertory player.
Well, you know, I had to switch it up
Take
here
that
because
Norm
I was
Macdonald, shove
definitely going to take Kenan Thompson, but now let me switch to somebody who is just going to play well with everybody I have on my cast. Give me Ted Lasso himself. Give me Jason Sudeikis as my repertory player. Did 9 seasons on SNL.
Nice.
Jason Sudeikis
Yeah,
is
that's a
the
strong pick.
to round out Rod's team, and we'll get to we'll do a recap here in just a few minutes. Chris, you are up.
Let me just say, this isn't going to happen very often, people, but I am going to make a comment about Rod's team and how I'm a little bit jealous because now that he has Will Forte and Jason Sudeikis, he can literally recreate one of my favorite, most absurd sketches from Saturday Night Live. It's called The Potato Chip, and it takes place in a NASA office.
That's so
and
good.
Will Forte is mad that Jason Sudeikis took one of his chips.
That is so good. That is so good. I'm also going to make my guy Will Forte bring out the fart knocker sketch.
Oh,
Did you guys ever catch
Your
that one?
potato chips will be safe. Oh.
You're a fart knocker. You're a fart knocker. That's another one I'm going to have Forte pull out. Just so many great Forte sketches. You guys are going down.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you guys are hearing, but the only thing I heard out of Rod there was fart knocker.
Fart knocker.
Forte heads out there will know.
And you know what? I like it. I like it. I like it. Chris King, who's your Kaufman? A lot of good ones still out there.
I mean, there are a lot of good ones, right? But, like, I took the Kaufman reference maybe a little bit too literal, right? We saw Andy Kaufman essentially fire himself from Saturday Night Live, right? So what better way to respect that type of real risk-taking? And that's why I'm going to take somebody who's not just a Saturday Night Live alum, not somebody who's a real wild card on Saturday Night Live, but somebody who has also been able to lead his own successful sketch comedy show. And I'm talking about Damon Wayans, the man who got fired by SNL for ad-libbing on air.
He did get fired. It was
Wow.
It was a funny
Big
ad
pickup
lib
there.
It was worth it. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Probably he's doing all right for himself. I think Damon Wayans.
I mean, listen, he got invited back to be stand-up for the show later on that same season, so he was funny enough to come back in the same year, but fired nonetheless.
All right. And Pete, hey, buddy. What's up, man? We are at the end of our draft here. Pete has female ready for primetime, male for primetime. Then we're going to go over all of our picks here in just a minute. Pete, who you got?
Give it to me one more time. Who am I still waiting on?
You have female ready for primetime and male not ready for primetime.
Okay. I do have my female. I do think she is
Good. I'm glad. I hope you have your male, too, or this is going to be a long night.
Yeah. I do think she is probably the funniest woman that is going to be on the list. I don't know if her time on SNL captured all of that.
Ah, JLD.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is my primetime player.
Wow.
Totally agree with her being a queen.
She is on my
honestly,
short list.
She is so funny and everything, I mean, for decades. And just, you know, I do think that she came from that same time period in the early 80s where there wasn't great characters for women to be playing on SNL, but she kind of was able to stand out after the Seinfeld years. And then my not ready for primetime, I don't know if this is true. I just think maybe he fits his category, maybe he doesn't. But I pick Andy Samberg.
Nice.
Yeah, I was worried he wasn't going to be on the list.
Yeah.
No, that's a great spot for him.
He fits that role of being that guy that's like kind of the goofy guy that comes in for a couple one-liners in the scene and then cuts back out, you know. And I think that he's not necessarily like he's not Adam Sandler primetime player. I think he's in that not ready.
Hey, I had Sandler as not ready, and I think Sandberg's just, you know, the dime store version of Sandler.
Whoa! Dang!
Okay.
Sandberg's
Even
sitting
though,
at home.
even though I love Sandberg
Read
and the
the
Lonely
list,
Island
Jimmy.
Boys. Like, they're
Read
so
the
close
list.
together. They're really close, but still,
The
Sandler's
dime
better.
store version.
Yeah.
Oof.
Wow. All right. Well, here we go. Here's our draft. Pete, let's. Why don't you take a look and read off your team and tell us how you're thinking?
That means I got to blow this up here. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I can read it off if you can't see it.
Let's see here. Yeah, I got Will Ferrell's my main lead. JLD's right there. There's really not a weak spot on this.
So Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Andy Samberg.
Kate McKinnon.
Yep.
Daryl Hammond. John Belushi. Tracy Morgan. And then Fallon and Faye to balance us out in the middle. Yeah,
You forgot you picked Belushi, didn't you? You're like, oh, yeah, I picked him. That was a good pick.
Yeah. But there are so many wild cards in there. And just creative people that they can create a character of their own and make it into like a movie star kind of character, or they can play like the little role in the skit that you wrote and just nail it and make it like a reoccurring sketch. So I don't think I got a weak one there.
Okay, Chris, how about you?
All right, this is what a winning cast looks like, all right? We have Bill Murray as our male lead. We have Amy Poehler as the female lead. Adam Sandler as our not ready for prime time. And, Rod, how do you pronounce her name again?
Hey, go Wodum.
as our not ready glue female, right? All right, and we don't stop there. We have one of the best impressionists of all time on Saturday Night Live, Jay Farrow. All right, we have the wild card of wild cards, almost up there with Andy Kaufman, Damon Wayans, a man who got fired for ad-libbing. We have the best role player, long-term cast member, in my opinion, ever, Phil Hartman. And then we have the great writer comedy duo of Michael Shea and Colin Jost anchoring Weekend Update.
Okay, a very solid pick. I have a feeling, though, someone else thinks their draft was better than yours. Rod, who you got?
Listen, Chris may have some names on there, right? I can't compete with somebody with the box office power of an Adam Sandler or a Bill Murray. Okay, I can't do that. I don't have the overall chops of a Phil Hartman, right? Everybody loves and respects Phil Hartman, but I think I've got a pretty solid team, right? How about Eddie Murphy? Ever heard of him as my male lead? Kristen Wiig is my female lead. Chris Parnell, not a name, but when you see him, you love him. He's my not ready for primetime male. My not ready for primetime female is Molly Shannon. My pop culture player / impressionist, goodness gracious, is Bill Hader. My Andy Kaufman wild card is Will Forte, because he can bring any kind of energy you need him to. My veteran repertory player is Jason Sudeikis, and my update anchor is Norm Macdonald. So I also have Turd Ferguson able to come out in any sketch that I want him to, and we are all excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
You have him. You've got Celebrity Jeopardy is key as well. So you're doing okay there, Rod.
I'm jealous of that Bill Hader pick.
I think the Bill Hader Will Forte combo there is going to be pretty tough to beat. But
pretty
I
good.
think I span the entire history of SNL, I think, with my picks. Could be good, could be bad. I think it's good. I've got Chevy Chase leading me off with Gilda Radner. I think they've got some good chemistry together. Chris Farley is someone who can just bring it in every sketch that he's in. Maya Rudolph is really that glue person as well. Mike Myers has had some of the funniest sketches ever in SNL. John Lovitz is just that wild card. You never really know what he's going to do and what he's going to bring to the scene. Kenan Thompson's been there forever, knows everything, is just an amazing talent. And then the update anchor, Jane Curtin and Dan Aykroyd together. Let's just go old school with that as well. So I think I did pretty well myself. Rod, overall, are you happy with our SNL draft?
Well, I was kind of just looking at the teams, and I was trying to do what Bill Simmons does on his rewatchables so often about the cocaine factor. And I think Pete wants to keep cocaine very far away from his set to kind of try to keep John Belushi in line. But Jimmy, you've got 3 cocaine heads on your team. You got Chevy, you got Dan Aykroyd, you got Chris Farley. Like, Jimmy, you might want to keep cocaine a little further away from your set than even Pete, I think, quite possibly, bud. You better watch out there.
Yeah, so I think what he was saying is, and Rod, it's funny. It's funny because Rod missed when I picked Chevy Chase because I said I liked a little danger on my set. And yeah, listen, my set is not going to be Bible studies and coloring books, okay? We've got, like he said, Chase, Radner, Farley, Curtin, and Aykroyd. Listen, we're going to have fun.
The after party is killer.
I might have the funniest shows. Let's be honest. I mean,
wait, I got a question though. All right, looking through all these, we literally only have 3-4 people that are currently on the show on this list, and only 2 of us drafted them. That was you and I, Jimmy. So what does that say? Are we surprised?
A little bit. I mean, I had a couple other people that depending on how things went, I would have drafted for sure. I went back and forth a lot with, I like Cecily Strong a lot. I know she is and isn't, so it's more current. I went back and forth with her a lot for either repertory or not ready for prime time as well. So it just kind of depends. Maybe it's lost a little bit of its luster. I don't know.
Is there anybody that you guys didn't see get drafted that you wanted to at least see get drafted?
Rachel Dratch.
Rachel Dratch was definitely on my. She's so good. That was sad. I was sad that Rachel Dratch didn't get. How about Dana Carvey? Heard of him at all?
Yeah.
Talk about glue.
Right. I really thought hard about him for my impressionist pop culture, but I wanted to go with a real impressionist, so I went with Farrow more than Carvey.
Yeah,
And someone
probably
go ahead.
I could have swapped him out with Sandberg for my not ready for prime time guy. I was also, going back through the history of it. Martin Short's also a guy that I think Martin Short might be one of the funniest people on TV right now. And he's like 75, 80 years old.
I thought about using him on my wild card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, who I loved on SNL, I love Jim Brewer, and I thought he was really good. Had a lot of things that were good. Chris Kattan, obviously, he's kind of, again, funny. I'm thinking sketches alone. I think those were good. Those were good.
Yeah, the characters he came up with were insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, is Rod back yet? I do not
Rod
see
sent
him.
a text saying just shut it down.
Shut it down, huh? We're done. So, Rod was done. This has been kind of his baby for some time now. We wanted to get this together, and it was a lot of fun. We love doing our drafts, and we'll put some voting up on Instagram and all of our other YouTube shorts, TikTok. Obviously, we're huge on TikTok as well. Really appreciate everybody who watches our videos, likes our videos. We are growing on those platforms for sure, and obviously with Spotify with the video podcast, we're going to get these up on there as well. So really appreciate it, Chris. As always, thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule, because you are extremely busy, and we appreciate you coming on.
Well, hey, it's always fun to come on here and dominate you guys in a draft once again. I think everybody will vote online that my cast right now is the best, so I'm always happy to come on and do this.
Of course, and forgive me, Chris. Who was your female not ready for primetime again? What was her name? And Pete, thank you so much for coming on. I know that if you have children, which all of us do, it's not very easy to do anything, let alone sit down for an hour and about 7 minutes of a podcast. So thank you very much.
No, I had so much fun chatting with you guys and hanging out, and it is fun to think back as you're going and kind of doing the research for these drafts. So think about the history of the show and how long these people have been making us laugh, and I just hope it stays to be an institution for a long time, and we can, future generations can continue to enjoy live entertainment, because I do think it's the best way to watch TV.
And with that, you have been listening to the Morgan Salute to SNL Draft with Rod, Jimmy, Pete, and Chris.
Goodbye, Internet.